Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sheryl if you're new. I'm going to start a series. I think our finances are really important. As many of you know, I am a mother of 6, so my finances are very important and I do have to be on top of that at all times. This particular video is going to be about how you can change little things in your grocery habits and in your daily life to help with your budget. So I have some tips for you. The first tip, and something that I do, of course, is I make my coffee at home. Not everyone can go to Starbucks every day. It's a treat for us. I make my coffee every day. I drink instant coffee and I get flavored creamer and it works great. It's delicious. And I have a little $10 frother and it's perfect. Very budget friendly. I get my coffee and I like making it actually, and I like when my kids make it for me or whoever. It's great. My next tip is a big one, which is meal planning. You want to meal plan if you can. And that doesn't mean some big production. It literally means writing down on a piece of paper 7 days, and then you just write what you're going to cook for dinner. Start with dinner, because I know as moms and as busy parents, we tend to sort of dread that sometimes because it's another decision that we have to make. And sometimes we just want that decision made for us, and then we'll just cook it and do the task. But if we already have it written down, we already know at the beginning of the week what groceries we have to get because we cater to that, or we have it in our mind. So it just depends on how you go about it. For me, I write down everything. I get the same sort of lunch things for my grocery list, then a different dinner every day of the week. And then breakfast, I have staples. You know, my kids can have cereal, they can have yogurt, they can have toast, they can have eggs, they can have egg wraps, they can have bagels with cream cheese, they can have muffins. I make muffins a lot. They can have a variety of things that are always there. So I don't have to plan those besides get the groceries. And they know that. I don't need to schedule each day what they can have. They are free to choose or whatever I make them that day. Dinner is, it's a busy time for people who are working outside of the home. They come home and it's stressful, right? When you are meal planning, you take that stress and you take that extra step out by just simply sitting on a Sunday night and getting that written down. So I highly recommend that. I highly recommend. Not only do you save your time, which is valuable, but you also save your sanity and you save in your wallet. So that's tip number 2. Another tip to consider when meal planning is to do an inventory of your freezer or of your pantry stock, because a lot of times you can go 2 weeks without having to buy a ton of groceries besides the fresh ones, because you can actually plan according to what you already have. So do that inventory, keep that meat from getting freezer burnt, get creative, and you'll see that it's really beneficial, especially on those times when, say, you have a trip coming up and you need to sort of account for that expense. So you just tweak some things in the other areas and it balances out. That's what helps me. I try to be very on top of those things so that I am able to do what I can. Another tip I have for you is to have a leftover night. I have 6 children. I am really good at cooking just enough, and if anybody wants another little helping or whatever, but I don't really like leftovers because my kids don't really like leftovers. So during different phases of my kids' lives, you know, a good tip would be you can send your leftovers with your kids the next day for their lunches. That works. For me, it didn't work because they don't want that, but that's okay. I don't prefer leftovers in my fridge. However, that's not to say I don't have any. So when I do have them, I have a leftover night, and that is, you know what, I don't want to cook. We're going to take everything out of the fridge. It cleans out your fridge. I like to do it on my recycle day is a Wednesday, so I like to do it on like a Tuesday so that my fridge is cleaned out. Anything that isn't eaten after that, it's gone. The food gets taken care of and there's very minimal waste. So that's a good tip with not letting those leftovers go to waste. Have a complete smorgasbord. Is that the word? Smorgasbord. Smorgasbord it up. I'm just in my backyard. How fantastic is this? It's beautiful. It's sunny. And I don't have to worry about lights because it's natural light. Anyways, okay. Another tip I have for you is batch cooking. If you're going to make chili, say, make enough for 2 or 3 or 4, right? 4 times the recipe. And you can freeze the rest, and it's one step. You're not really spending any more time. So you might spend 10 more minutes prepping and making the food, but it's going to save you probably 3 hours down the road. So just batch cook. It's really, really helpful. Busy moms, busy people, it's something that you can freeze, and then your kids, they get home from school before you're home from work. You can take it out in the morning, they can throw it in the crock pot, or you can throw it in the crock pot in the morning before you leave, or they can get it organized so that when you walk in the door, you can turn it on. However that works for your family, but that's something that has been very beneficial for me to keep organized and for me to keep everyone happy and fed in my household, in my big household. Along those lines, so you want to cook once, eat twice, or more. If you're cooking, say, chicken, cook 2 chickens, and then the next day you can have bacon chicken wraps or whatever, but it's already cooked, especially the big meat element if you're a meat eater. Along the lines of being a meat eater, one other tip that I have for you is to have a meatless day. You can be vegetarian for a day. I used to do meatless Mondays, and just because it sounds fun, right? So meatless Mondays, we just have something else, and there's plenty of options, and it saves you money down the road. And sometimes you have to do that 2 or 3 times, right? Or if meat is expensive at that time, then you can have extra veggies or whatever is in season that is the best cost-effective way for you to feed your family and still fill them up. Because if you're not feeding yourself and fueling yourself with fulfilling foods, then you're just going to be hungry and eat more. So you want to make sure that you have that nutrition. Like I said, either initiate a meatless day of the week or several. That saves you money, that saves you time. It saves a lot of things, and it's a good idea to force yourself to also be creative when you're cooking. Try it out. Start with 1 week. So for me, that's 7 of us. If I were to do a meatless Monday, I'm probably saving 40, 30, let's say $30 a week. That's $120 a month. So it's valuable to do that. It's cost effective, and it doesn't hurt anyone. It's quite cool. And also, when your kids are little, they like little themes, right? Meatless Monday, they love that. I also do batch baking, and here's a super good tip. Do not bake when your kids are at home with you. Okay, I love baking with my kids. It's one of my favorite things to do, and it's one of their favorite things to do with me. However, I make a point of baking when they're not home, because as we all know, moms, when you're baking when they're home, they want to eat it. So what I do is I bake double or triple. I make sure that I have some for when they're home after school. Then I throw some in the freezer. Then I have those as a backup, and then I don't have to bake all the time. They don't know about those, so they can't ask for them, and they can't ask for 2 or 3 or so. That's what I do. So bake when they're not home so that you can get some in the freezer without them knowing, and it's saving you time, it's saving you stress, and it's keeping you on top of things. Another thing that I don't do is I don't buy juice. We can drink water in this house. I buy milk. We go through a lot of milk. I have a lot of teenagers. And I think that they have realized that that is what's making them grow, or they saw that somewhere and now they're drinking tons of it. So I buy milk, and then I have water. Everyone can drink water. We need more water. That's something that as we're growing up and as we're adults, we're always lacking, and we're always needing to improve on ourselves. So I don't buy the juice. It saves me. With 6 kids, it would cost me a fortune if I bought juice or pop all the time. I just don't do it. The most I ever do is I buy maybe one of those things of lemonade, and that's because they can share that like the whole season, plus they like to have lemonade stands. So that's a treat, and I actually keep that in my room. That's not just like free for all. So yeah, that's a good money saving tip for you. Another one would be, don't be afraid to buy no name. A lot of the times it's just where they have it on the shelf. That's all strategic. Some people don't know that it's strategic, and that companies are paying to be at eye level, and that they actually own the brand name and the no name, and it's the exact same. So go to the bottom of the shelf of the grocery store and buy the no name. There's a few exceptions that I sort of stay with, like cheese. I don't know why, but that's one thing. So you just decide what works for you and what you're willing to compromise on. But it adds up. It adds up. And the more you do that, the more you're going to know what is a little different and what you're willing to compromise on. One thing that could be helpful to know is that, and a reminder of, is that bakeries often give away their day-old items, or obviously put them on sale. So day old, they made it in the morning, and then by the end of that work day, it's day old. So you can go first thing in the morning and you can buy it at a discount, and it's still very, very fresh. Also, there's a lot of programs in communities. The bakery actually donates all, because they just have too much. They have to make so much in the bakery that is fresh, and it's inevitable that they will not sell it all. So they actually do give it away, and they have programs. Often if you talk to the manager, they have someone in charge from a church or from a community group that is in charge of distributing all that. I've actually been a recipient of that in the past, and it was very helpful. I knew of a friend who was organizing that, and she did that every week. She volunteered her time to do that, and she actually drove to everyone's house, and then she put me on the list and was like, do you need any bread? Do you need any buns? Do you need any cinnamon buns? And she would come, and her car was full, and I would come and I would grab whatever I felt like I needed or wanted. And it was really, really helpful, especially in those times when you need to spend less money on those staple items. So look into that. That's something that not everyone realizes or knows about. Okay, we're down to 2. I have 2 more for you. The second last tip I have is, if you're ordering takeout, let's say you're having a special occasion, or you're treating yourself, or you're just absolutely exhausted, if you can scrounge up the energy, go pick it up yourself, and don't order through an online delivery service. Phone the restaurant yourself and order it through them, and then go pick it up. Some people don't realize that the prices have been adjusted, and so you're already paying a higher price because they have to offset their percentage that they have to pay them. I don't want to name them, but we all know what these companies are. Anyways, so it saves you money if you can order directly from the restaurant and then pick it up yourself. You save the offset cost that it's been increased, you save the delivery charge, and you save the tip. I know, sometimes we're just really, really tired, but that's one way that you can help justify in your brain. You're still taking a break, but you're also doing it as cost effectively as you can. So take advantage of that. Be conscious of that when you can. Okay, and my last tip is, I have school-aged kids, and we all know they have snacks constantly. So one tip for money saving is to send them to their friends at snack time. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. But I mean, if it happens, right? All right. I hope all these tips help you to save a little bit of money in your pocket. These are things that I do myself, and they really help my family. I think we have to be conscious with our finances. Our finances are important. We want to be responsible, and we want to offset our stresses with our productivity with little things like this. Little by little by little, they help. They add up. Everything adds up, one thing at a time. If you can't do all of those, pick 2 of them. Pick 2 of them, try them out, give them a little feel. Save this video, like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe. This is a beautiful day. I'm actually going to record another video after this. Thank you for watching. See you next time.